Do you guys like Rattlesnake Republic? Do you guys like tokens? And do you guys like them sweet value? Then this deck is the deck for you. Let's jump in. Hello guys, it's your boy back at it again with another deck tech video on the new Commander core set creatures. Today we're gonna talk about Xyris the Riding Storm. So first of all, let me tell you guys, this one is one of the most powerful decks I've ever reviewed on this channel. It's around a level 7 to 8 power level in my opinion. So yeah, before we dive in, let's read the cards. Xyris is a 2 colorless, 1 green, 1 blue and 1 red for a 3/5 flying snake leviathan. Whenever an opponent draws a card, except the first one they draw on each of their turns, create a 1/1 green snake creature. And whenever he deals damage to a player, you and that player each draw that many cards. So guys, let me tell you, this dude is a value machine. The deck is built around wheels and taking advantage of the token generation we get from him. We don't rely on combat damage triggers, although I see Xyris can be built in a kind of Voltron strategy. But again, this isn't the strategy of the deck. Quick disclaimer, this deck isn't mine, it's from a friend of mine. And it's a pretty good brew if you ask me. So again, like all my deck techs, I divided this one in 5 categories. First of all, we're gonna look at the game plan, how this deck is supposed to win and how it wants to win. Then we're gonna look at the wheels, so the card advantage cards and the cards that we can use to let our opponent draw. Then we're gonna look at the most fun category, in my opinion, the value category. It's pretty insane. And then we're gonna look at the token use, so how are we gonna get our tokens buffed up and how can we use their EDB triggers or their bodies to gain value. And to top it all off, I'm gonna have a little category named Special Menus category and why green is great in wheel decks. So let's begin with the game plan. So the first step is easy, you play Xyris. Step 2, make your opponents happy with group of effects and wheel effects, let them draw cards. Step 3, make a shit ton of snakes. Step 4, get the value from the snake from sec outlets and ETB triggers or buff them up and take the win. So guys, wheels are going to be the main engine of this deck. We're gonna start at this category. I'm gonna show you some of the best cards in the deck that let us and our opponents draw and refill their hands so that we can get the tokens we so much need. So we run our basic wheel package. We forge a soul for the consistent 7 draw. Guys, remember, if you play with a table of 4, you will get 21 snakes. So welcome to Rattlesnake Republic. The same is for Corvus Fury and Windfall, although you might get less snakes from those. The Furious Puzzle Box is pretty nice because it's a consistent wheel effect every turn. So yeah, you're gonna get a pretty lot of snakes from those cards. The next category, my friend named it Party Hardy, and it consists of group hook strategies, group hook cards, pretty fun. And we all know that group hook cards have a nice sleeper effect. They come by unnoticed, and when they notice it, it's mostly too late. So let's take a look at the Party Hardy. So we run a Dictate of Crewfix to give our opponents 1 extra card for each turn. We run Forced Intuition. I know it's greedy, but if your table lets this enchantment resolve, it's essentially game freaking over. For every spell labels play, you will get 7 snakes. We also include a Hardwood Storyteller in the deck because it lets our opponents draw extra cards and even lots of cards in some matchups. And some other Party Hardy cards are Vision Skeins, an instant beast, each player draws 2 cards, just does its job. Rites of Flourishing to give the extra card an extra ramp, and Edric's Biomancer of Tress to make sure our opponents are attacking each other and not you. Alright, and now my favorite category. Guys, this deck is insane in the value. Even if you robbed a bank, you wouldn't come close to the value this deck brings you. So we generate value in this deck mainly by our tokens and some sorceries, so let's look into that. So the first card I want to mention, my friend told that it was pretty insane, and when I read it, it's pretty fucking insane. So it's Mystic's Mastery. So in the late game, if you already have some wheels in the graveyard and you cast this spell, you will replay all your wheels for no mana. Guys, remember what I told you about Forge the Souls and all those wheel effects. You will get a bajillion freaking snakes. To summarize what happens, I made a quick simulation of what the board will look like. So I'm just gonna give you a minute to read the next card, Kindred Discovery, and tell me how broken this is in this deck. Alright, minute's over. This card is pretty freaking insane, guys. Every snake that ETBs or attacks, you will draw an extra card. I mean, you gotta put some shuffle effects in this deck because you're gonna mill yourself. So guys, I can't stress this enough. This card will give you a much card advantage across the table. You will be pretty hard to stop with all the value you will get in your hand. So yeah, these two cards in the deck are pretty much all stars. So let's take a look at some other value cards that need a little bit more setup than these two. So we also run an Orange Frostfang. It lets us draw when snakes connect, and also for Flavin's reasons because it's a freaking snake. We also run Spark Double because it can copy legendaries, and a second Xyris is pretty neat. Okay, so that was it for the value category. Now we are gonna look at how we finally win the game, because we can't win by outvaluing our opponents, although you can win, but you know what I mean. We gotta use those tokens to get our advantage in the game and to use them offensively or for offensive value. So guys, I eventually divided this category up in two categories. We have two main win strategies in this deck. Mainly, the first one's mainly to pump our creatures, to pump the tokens, to get them stronger. So let's look in that. I think the first card doesn't need an introduction. For budget reasons, you can also run the 4-bear runners. So we also run an Eldrazi Monument to get our creatures pumped up and indestructible. The disadvantage is that we have to sack one, but that won't be a problem in this deck. The next creature, a pretty cool creature in the deck. It pumps up our snakes. This card was recommended by my friend. He's a great brewer, so yeah, I'm not surprised, but it's a great snake synergy, and I like the flavor. Okay, and the other route we can go to close out the game is to cash our tokens in for offensive value. For example, by Goblin Bombardment, we just ping our opponents, or by the ATBs they create. So we run Perforos and Impact Tremors to get the damage we needed. So guys, I wanted to make use of this last category to show you guys how good green is in a wheel deck. Because the main commanders we know that are in the wheel game and that have similar strategies are Locust God, who also creates tokens, and Nekusar, who does just straight up damage. But now I'm gonna show you some great green cards that those decks can't run and that we can run. Let's take a look. First of all, we have Doubling Season, who doubles our tokens, pretty great addition to the deck, and Locust God can't run this. The next card, Second Harvest, which lets us to double our tokens in one quick instant spell. Pretty great card in this deck. Doubles our snakes for that Rattlesnake Republic, boy! And a card I personally like, Shamanic Revelations. I love this card. I also put it in my Amara deck. You also can find that deck on my channel. Yeah, it's just great draw, and when you pump up your creatures you can gain life. So pretty solid card. So guys, this was my little deck presentation of Xyris. You can find the full deck list in the description below, because I didn't discuss the ramp and the removal and the counter spells. You can all find that there. Again, this wasn't my creation, a friend of mine created this. A pretty cool deck. I really liked it when I was digging up the cards and stuff. And hopefully you won't build it so that I can build it. Alright guys, check out my other videos, hope you liked it, leave a like if you liked it, and maybe a sub. Bye!